it's Paige and Bluebird. We're back with some more training tips. So this week we are going to be going over some fun tricks to teach your dog. So much of our time is spent doing obedience and being serious and trying to train our dogs, but really it's about having fun with your dog. Tricks can be an awesome tool to have in your tool belt. If your dog really enjoys doing them, you're more likely to get that behavior. So maybe when they are barking at another dog or they're distracted, you could ask for a spin, or you can ask for, some kind of trick to redirect them. Or if they're worried about something and having anxiety, you can use tricks to kind of play with them and get them out of their head a little bit. Plus they're fun, and it's a good way to keep your dog learning and mentally stimulated. So they are really fun and really great tools. It also helps increase your bond with your dog, which we love. So the first one we're going to be going over is spin. This is one of Blue's favorites. So the trick itself is just having them spin one direction. You always want to go the same direction with whatever word you use. You can teach them to go in the opposite direction, but you want to use different words. So to teach this originally, you want to have your dog standing up, facing you, have food in your hand, and slowly just have them follow the food around. Yes, I know, that's a little uncoordinated. So we'll slowly take this food around, and yes, reward as soon as the circle is complete. Then once they're doing it really consistently, you feel confident that they're going to spin all the way around. Some dogs you have to take it a little wider, play around with it. Once you feel consistent about it, you then can add your word. You can say spin, and then do your come here. Once you feel confident with it, you can use your word and then do your body language. So you can say spin and then do your turning. Now you can also then teach them to spin around the other way. So I call it going counterclockwise. I call that spin, and then going clockwise I call turn. And you just teach it the same way. You just have them follow the food around in a little circle. And it's funny, you might find that your dog does better going one direction than the other. And then eventually you can work on feeding the food in your hand so that it just turns into a hand signal. Come here, spin. Good job, yes. So that's a fun one. That is one of Blue's favorites. I use it when he is getting all amped up and distracted. I just ask him for a spin, and he loves doing it. So all of us are happy in the end. So that is one trick you can work on. The second trick you can work on with your dog is teaching them to take a bow. This is one of Blue's favorite tricks as well. It's also one of mine. I think it's just so cute. So you're teaching them to play bow, essentially. So take a bow. Take a bow. Yes. Good boy. So it's teaching them to kind of go down and put their little butt in the air. So how you start to teach this is, once again, you want them standing up, facing you. Stand. Stay. You want them standing, facing you. Come here. Stand, stay. So you want them, you're too much. Okay, stand, stay. So you want your dog facing you to teach this one as well. So you can get them standing up and kind of nibbling on the food. Then you take the food in towards them and add an angle. So you almost are pushing the food in this way. You don't want to take it down. You don't want to take it straight back. You want to go in between and do it at an angle into them. Now you can go slow. Some dogs you might just have to go in a little bit and get just a little bit of a bow. Yes. And reward that. It's all about taking what they'll give you. It might not be a full bow right away, but you want to reward even that little attempt at it. And then once you're pretty confident that they'll do it, you can introduce your cue once again. Now, I recommend calling this take a bow versus just bow, because that can be very similar sounding to down, and you're doing a very similar body language signal, so you don't want to confuse them. So take adds a little bit of a different sound to it. So I'm going to get him standing. I'm going to say take a bow, put my food in, take a bow. Yes, good job. I also always pull them out of the bow before I give them the food. Otherwise, sometimes they learn to go straight down and then they think you want a down. So it's best to get them take a bow. Yes, and then pull the food forward to get them coming out of it so they know you want the bow versus them sinking right into a down. So that is our second trick of take a bow. Take a bow. Yes, good job, Blue. Our last trick we're going to go over is teaching crawl. So this is a fun one too. The dogs seem to really enjoy this one. You might want to be careful if you have an older dog to do this on a softer surface than a hard floor. Sometimes they'll do it better on the carpet or on the bed. So make sure that your dog is comfortable when you're doing this one. This one you also want to have your dog facing you, but you want to start with them in a down. So once they're in a down, you want them laying nice and straight. You don't want them to, relax on one hip. You want them to be nice and, I know, I'm sorry, buddy. You want them to be nice and straight and ready to go. Have them nibbling on the food, and all you're going to do is pull it straight forward a little bit. Yes, good boy. So even just one little crawl forward, you're going to reward it. Ready? Yeah, there you go. Crawl, 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 crawl. Good boy. I know, he's having a very hard time on this floor, but he's being a good sport. So I slowly just bring the food, further and further to make him crawl a little bit more. But I just bring it nice and low, straight back towards me. You want to make sure your hand is really low so that they stay close to the ground. Now, sometimes too, it can help. Can you jump? To just place a hand here. You never want to put pressure or push them down, but sometimes it can help kind of give them a good idea that you're wanting to keep them kind of staying down versus popping up. So once again, once they're doing the behavior nicely for you and they're crawling and taking a couple steps, there you go. Oh, come on, buddy. So once they're taking a couple steps for you and they're doing it really consistently, you then can add in your cue and you can say crawl. And you can bring your food forward and get some little army crawl steps. So that can be a fun one too, to teach your dog as something a little bit different than your regular obedience. We love tricks. Like I said, tricks are a great way to engage with your dog. There's so many fun tricks you can work on. There are so many things you can teach your dog and have fun with your dog. That's what it's all about, is having fun and increasing that bond. So that's all we have for you guys today. We will see you next time.